Welcome to my channel. Oats and Hoes here. My name is Sarah. I'm currently in Detroit, Michigan in a hotel room. I am on tour right now as a PETA tour crew member, and it's absolutely been a blessing working for PETA. They're an amazing company who does so many wonderful things for the animals, and I just could not be more grateful that I have this opportunity in my life. I have the opportunity to spread veganism and physically talk about it to people one-on-one, have genuine conversations on a daily basis. It's fulfilling for me because I've always felt this fire within me to spread veganism and talk about it because it's important for the well-being of our environment and our health, and this planet we live on literally depends on the sustainability of our lifestyles. And the way we're just taking everything from the earth like it is right now, like it's just abundant and will never end, is just inaccurate, not true, and it's not going to have a happy ending if we don't change our ways. By the year 2048, we can see fishless oceans. People out here eating fish like it's fucking vegetables. I'm talking about it, okay? So we as a society, as a human race, we need to make changes. Future generations to come, they need to have resources, like natural resources, meaning like water. It's a blessing and a half for me to have this opportunity to have such a great chance of making those changes, and I really feel like I am. Alright, so enough of that rant. I'm here today making this video specifically for vegetarians. First of all, I would just like to say thank you for what you are doing. I appreciate your effort. You are making a difference and you are on the right path. And I appreciate you 100%. And I thank you again for what you're doing because you are contributing to so much good. But I would just like to say it's not enough. And the ultimate end goal should be veganism for several reasons that I will explain. So, number one, the first reason why vegetarians should switch to veganism simply for ethical, moral reasons. So when you're vegetarian, it's very obvious to see how you are not hurting animals because you are not eating meat in your diet, and you can clearly see how meat is causing harm because it's shaving off a part of an animal's body. So obviously that animal had to be killed. It lived a life in a factory farm. 99% of animals raised in this country are raised on factory farms. The outliers are the nice family-owned, humane, cage-free, whatever, organic farms. That's 1% of the animals raised in this country. So if you are not vegetarian and you are liking to think that you are doing a good thing by buying free-range, cage-free meat, I'm sorry, but those animals literally end up in the same exact slaughterhouse as the animals that were raised on factory farms in cages so small they can't even turn around their whole life. Environments so harsh that they get their beaks ripped off of them with no anesthetic so that they don't peck to death the other chickens next to them out of range. As for pigs, they get their tails cut off with no anesthetic. Like, I don't know, just shit like that. We're treating animals like they're products, and they're not. If you are a vegetarian for ethical reasons, then yes, you are refraining from actually eating the body parts of an animal, which is great, but unfortunately, the dairy industry is the same exact thing as the beef industry, meaning that dairy cows raised in the dairy industry are used for their milk. They are artificially inseminated continuously their entire lives until their bodies just kind of give out, and then they end up in the same slaughterhouse as cows raised in the beef industry. So the day that a cow gives birth to their baby, the baby is taken from them, and the mom will stand there for days. She'll bellow out. She'll go to that exact same spot where her baby was taken from her, and she'll cry with physical tears, and she will frantically be searching for her baby. And like, I know that sounds dramatic, but like, it's the truth. Like, even if you're not a parent, you could still imagine how tragic it is to have someone you love, especially someone you just gave birth to and spent like 9 months brewing in your body, just taken away from you simply so that your breast milk can be sold to humans that was intended for your baby. And that's how tragic it is. There is absolutely no humane way to separate a baby from its mom, and there is no humane way to drink a woman's breast milk without her consent, is the reality of it. And that's what we're doing. That's what we were brainwashed to believe was normal. And the thing is that all of this harm that we're causing on these animals is so unnecessary, simply because we don't need it to survive. We do not need dairy for our health, and in fact, we can actually be healthier and thrive and live longer without it. We can fight diseases, we can reverse diabetes. There are so many benefits to a plant-based diet that does not involve dairy products. Dairy products are packed with hormones, with things that we should not be putting through our bodies. So if you are vegetarian for ethical reasons, then I would encourage you to research the dairy industry and see how unethical dairy is. If you're a vegetarian for health reasons, I would encourage you to read about dairy. The proteins in dairy actually make it harder for our body to absorb several nutrients such as calcium and iron, which is often why you hear that vegans don't need as much iron in our diet, because we are actually more capable of absorbing that nutrient since we aren't consuming dairy products. So like I said, I would encourage you to look into the health benefits of abstaining dairy from your diet. Vegans often find that they feel more energetic, they have clearer skin, a clearer state of mind, and ultimately it feels good to align your innate moral beliefs with your actions. If you think it's wrong to separate a mother and a child the day the child is born for unnecessary reasons, then you already believe in veganism, and it's just a matter of taking that stance to not fund the dairy industry by buying food items with milk in it when we don't have to. Also, I would encourage you to try out vegan cheeses such as Chow cheese and Violife. It's a little more expensive, but it's really good. Those are my two favorite cheeses, and yes, I would really just encourage you to look into the cruelty, for one, in the dairy industry, the health benefits of not eating dairy, and it's really not even that hard. It's just a matter of ordering your burrito without cheese on it, or instead of making I don't know, whatever you eat with cheese, put vegan cheese on it, or just abstain from the cheese. The thing is, dairy cheese that comes from a mother's breast milk has an addictive component in it, simply because her baby needs to crave it, her baby needs to want it, because her baby needs it to grow. If we're constantly incorporating dairy into our diet, we are actually becoming addicted to it. Meaning that once we cut it out of our diet, we won't feel those cravings anymore. Kind of just like any kind of addictive substance. Once you stop and once you quit for a while, you're not going to have those cravings anymore. And you're going to just feel the beauty of not contributing to such harm. And as for the egg industry, what the fuck is up with eggs? People think that like, oh, they just come out of chickens anyways, so what's the harm in eating them? Blah! No. Wrong. I have notes about the egg industry. Alright, so hens, pardon me, hen is the female version of a chicken. Here's basically how the egg industry was born. So, originally, hens are only supposed to lay around 12 to 20 eggs per year, meaning they menstruate 12 to 20 times per year, similarly to the menstrual cycle of a woman. And by interfering with the natural brooding process of the hen nesting and protecting her egg by automatically taking it away from her the second she lays it, her body instinctively responds by producing more eggs. As humans found this to be profitable, these hens started being genetically manipulated to produce more and more and more eggs. Now, hens on factory farms actually lay 300 eggs per year, which is ridiculous because the actual process of a chicken pushing out its egg takes 26 hours, and the process of the egg being pushed out of the hen's body is painful, similarly to how a woman experiences cramps and bloating and other unfortunate negative side effects of having a menstrual cycle. Hens feel the same thing, and if not more, because they are actually pushing a giant egg in comparison to the size of their body out of them, which takes a lot of nutrients. It takes a lot of calcium for their body to be able to form the egg, and it takes a lot of protein for their body to be able to form the shell and the yolk of the egg. And making 300 eggs a year for a chicken is absolutely unnatural. It's harmful to them because they can't there's not enough time in the day to eat that much food to be able to form that many eggs without forming broken bones and without getting diseases like ovarian cancer, osteoporosis. Which is why you often see chickens on factory farms in like really scary slaughterhouse footage laying on the floor. They can't walk, they have broken bones, they look ill, and it's because their bones are literally breaking because they can't make that many eggs without harming their own health. And unfortunately, there are absolutely zero regulations on factory farms on how they have to treat their animals. It's also very common for eggs to actually be stuck in the hen, causing them death because of their hyperactive, rapidly aging reproductive system that wasn't meant to be producing that many eggs in the first place. So their body literally just has no energy to push out the egg, and they die with their egg inside of them. What's going on? What's going on? Why the fuck? Who are we to think that it's okay to do that to another living being, another animal just like us, who has eyes, who has a mouth, who has a heart, who has ears, who is smart, who responds to pain, who suffers, who has the ability to feel joy and the ability to feel happiness if they ever did so be blessed with the opportunity to come out of their suffering, who have so many similar characteristics that we do? Who are we to think that it's okay to be doing this to these innocent beings for breakfast when we can literally eat something else that did not cause that much harm? Instead of eating scrambled eggs for breakfast, try out a scrambled tofu recipe. Instead of eating a sunny side up egg, try eating some toast with avocado on it, or some toast with peanut butter, or some fruit, or a smoothie, or oatmeal, or a sandwich without eggs. Try hummus with vegetables. Like, there are so many options available to us that what we're doing to these innocent animals on factory farms, in all sorts of factory farming, is just completely unnecessary. So back to vegetarianism. I thank you for what you're doing. I thank you for your efforts in decreasing suffering that these animals go through, but unfortunately, all animal products end up with death, and there is no humane way to kill someone who doesn't want to die. So that's the vibe, dude. Like, all you have to do, instead of buying cow's milk at the grocery store, you buy almond milk. Instead of buying a carton of eggs, try picking up some tofu. Tofu is so versatile, you can make it into so many things. If you're worried about protein, if that's the reason you are still eating eggs in your diet, I would recommend researching that topic. It's easier to have an excess of protein in your diet than it is to be deficient. It's actually very, very rare that someone would ever have a protein deficiency. Usually the people who have protein deficiencies are malnourished, and they're not eating a wide variety of foods, or they simply aren't getting enough calories in their diet. So as long as you are eating a variety of plant-based foods that this earth has conveniently grown for us, with no killing animals or harming animals in the process, and if you're eating enough calories, then you do not have to worry about getting enough protein. Okay, so that's That's the vibe. That's my view on veganism versus vegetarianism. I will continue to make videos about the topics that most commonly arise while I'm communicating with people on the streets. I have met so many people thus far on my travels working with PETA. Every day we've got around like 50 to 70 people to watch this video. Yeah, it just really brings to light the cruelty that does happen, that is very real in the dairy industry, and it's a blessing to know that so many people are not necessarily going vegan because they watched this video, but they're aware and they're educated, and a lot of people appreciate what we're doing and they thank us. I don't know, I've gotten a lot of things like, animals don't feel pain. A guy actually literally told me animals don't have brains. Like, they don't have brains, so they're not capable of like hurting, or they don't care that they're in these conditions. And I was, what the fuck? Like, what? Animals do have brains, okay? Just put that out there. I've heard a lot of people say that they drink almond milk, and I was so thankful for that. Like, so many people, more people drink almond milk nowadays than cow's milk, genuinely, from my experience, is what I've discovered. And good vibes, man. The world is slowly changing, and vegan activists out there, you're doing your part. And if you're not practicing activism, I would encourage you to get out there and do what it is that you're good at that would spread the vegan message, because the animals so desperately would absolutely love for you to do that. Alright, thanks for watching. Catch you next time. Farewell. Adios. Okay.